I wish we could grow that in the Bay Area, but well, we can. We just have to protect it in winter. This is Codianum variegatum, one of the hundreds of cultivars of what people call Croton, not to be confused with a really big family of plants with like 600 different species. This is Codianum variegatum. This is basically a plant that's been messed with by man for so many years that people don't even know where it started. But it's been cultivated for a very long time, and selections have been made for the coloration in the foliage, which can be just absolutely striking. Look at the underside of that. So here we have a dark leaf, big leafed one here with obviously lots of orange in it and pinks. They come in all different shapes and sizes. You'll see lots of different ones, usually in the same landscapes. It's a really nice shrub for the tropics. I'm down here in Dominican Republic. Here's another one with curly Q leaves. See the spiral? Isn't that interesting? And you can see this one's really nicely arranged right in there. And of course it has some nice spottiness on it. And then right next to that one, for contrast, we have this unbelievably yellow variegated version right here, which is just so colorful. It just jumps out at you all the way across the yard. You cannot miss this thing. It is extremely bright. And then we have what amounts to probably the same plant as we had to start with. You can see how tall they get. We have about 7 feet tall. You can see the contrast of the plants next to each other. They can make a really nice contrast. Basically, you're talking the same plant, just a different cultivar, which is just unreal because look at the difference. It's like night and day. And there's like just an incredible pattern there you have on it. Now what's interesting, it's in the Euphorbia family. So if you break a stem off, which I probably won't because these are not mine, it'll bleed a white sap. That white sap is toxic to some people, and so you want to avoid that. The other interesting thing about these plants is that these seeds are apparently fatal if eaten by smaller human beings like children. It's not a laughing matter. But what's funny about it is that, no one seems to care. It's like people freak out once they find out there's a plant that's totally toxic. I don't see any seeds on this flower. There's male and females when it comes to these plants. But yeah, it's funny when people find out that there's a plant that's totally toxic, they freak out and they say, I can't have that in my garden. Like oleander or something like that. But I mean, how many people really go and eat oleander and die from it? I've never heard of it happening, and I see oleander everywhere. Same thing with this plant. This Croton is everywhere in the tropics. I mean, it is ubiquitous. And so, when somebody finds out that it's toxic and they don't want it in their garden because of that, well, there are so many things that are toxic out there. Just the whole idea is just to not sit there and chew on your plants unless you know what they are. So probably a pretty good rule of thumb to teach the kids not to do that either. So anyway, but now you know what that is, the Croton. Now in the Bay Area, you can take these plants, put them in pots, and keep them outside, where they'll do really well. And then put them in really bright, hot, sunny areas out of the frost in the winter. And you really need to keep the temperatures up. It's not just frost that hurts this plant. It's actually just like the lack of warmth throughout the winter. So you might want to bring it in, put it next to a big, bright window. And then you probably got a pretty good shot at growing this plant. The Croton, Codianum variegatum.